We're back at it again with another Battlefront update. While content this month may be on the lackluster side, the current community quests that DICE left in the game before their vacation have really taken off, with the quest for Maul's Kenobi voice line already complete as of the recording of this video. The second Maul quest has still 3 more days to go before it's gone, but even that one is almost complete as well. But with that said, in today's video we'll be covering more interesting topics than just the community quests for July, such as the latest new developments on the Jango Fett vs Cad Bane story, Battlefront 2 becoming a free game in August, and more. And before we get into any of that, but a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like to show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Now, it's kind of been a while since we got our last new hero in the game, which is of course Anakin Skywalker. And if you're part of the crowd still asking and practically chasing DICE over on social media for them to still add new heroes, then obviously in that case we're long overdue for some new ones. Of course, the most probable ones that we're gonna get next are Ahsoka and Ventress, most likely this fall. But I doubt those will be the only ones, especially with the way DICE has been teasing lately. And yeah, I'm still talking about more Clone Wars heroes because DICE doesn't seem to be ready to finish making content on that front anytime soon. As for what next hero we could see, well, that's an answer some may not like. And I only say this because one of the most popular prequel heroes that I always see get mentioned next to Mace Windu or Ahsoka Tano to get added to the game is none other than Jango Fett, the Pops of the Clone Army. And really, if you're a fan of Boba Fett or Mandalorian armor in general, then how could you not like Jango? And well, that answer may surprise you, as actually it seems the folks over at DICE don't seem to be big fans of the famed bounty hunter. And it's possible that's going to be one of the main reasons why Jango may get excluded or overlooked for another particular Clone Wars bounty hunter, which I'm sure many of you will know as Cad Bane. The whole debate on whether Cad Bane should be included over Jango Fett in Battlefront 2 isn't really new, but there have been some recent developments on this topic that do showcase DICE's favor going forward more toward Cad than Jango. It all of course started from this one simple response tweet regarding Jango Fett from Guillaume Raz, who's the hero designer at DICE, saying if he were to add a new jetpack dual-wielding hero, then there's someone else first in line for that spot who's not Jango. And when people started asking questions about this and seeing who everyone preferred to see more, Jango or Cad in Battlefront 2, it was then when Ben Wok appeared to voice his opinion in saying that he wants to have Cad Bane instead, all because of his cool hat. Which I guess I'm guilty, as I do have to agree with Ben on this one. Because really, how could you top off a cowboy hat in space? Heck, I think even Dave Filoni would be in favor of this one as well, now that I think about it. Regardless, this got a lot of the community all riled up. And then news from famed leaker some_info stating that Jango Fett was not in development, at least not at the time, only made things worse, as the rumors of Cad Bane making it into Battlefront 2 over Jango Fett seemed to be growing by the day, and of course Jango fans weren't pleased at all. And now, Ben Wok once again has chimed in on the subject, further fueling that Cad Bane could be that new jetpack hero we've all been hearing about these past couple of months. First on Reddit, when one player openly voiced their disappointment in DICE, allegedly choosing Cad over Jango, all on account due to Jango being their most memorable character from their childhood. And Ben answered with this: "That's the thing with Star Wars, it spans generations. Your youth is likely different to another player's. Adding any content is always tough, as it always comes at the expense of something else we would have liked to have." And yeah, I 100% agree on this and always say the same thing. For instance, I grew up with the original trilogy, so when I think about Star Wars, then my Star Wars will always be different to someone who grew up with the prequels, the Clone Wars, or heck, even the sequels. And now that we're getting exclusively pretty much only Clone Wars content, then all those people who grew up with the Clone Wars are loving every minute of it. And even though I don't feel the same kind of excitement for it just because I didn't grow up with it, then that doesn't mean I should disregard it in any way. Because in the end, it's still all Star Wars, which of course we all love. And that's basically what Ben is getting at here without being too direct. Just because this individual grew up with Jango then Cad Bane doesn't make Cad any worse of a character, and shouldn't lessen his chances of coming to the game first. And would you know it, all those people who did grow up with the Clone Wars series responded to this by saying their approval in Cad over Jango. Afterwards, Ben was once again asked about Jango Fett in Battlefront 2, this time on Twitter, and the answer he gave shouldn't really be a shocker to anyone following the story. The player here asked if it were possible to be seeing Jango ever appear in Battlefront 2, or would that be something impossible? And Ben responded by saying not impossible, but our attention is elsewhere. Which of course is another indirect answer, but still suggesting that DICE have little to no interest in seeing Jango in Battlefront 2. Judging on how much more Ben is in favor of seeing Cad Bane, and even defending his potential inclusion to the game roster, well then it seems like he's the one who has the best chance of being released as a Padme counter. And again, while there may be a sizable crowd who may not be happy with this decision, it's very clear on Ben's stance that DICE simply do not care. Whether that will be a deal breaker for some or not still remains to be seen. Next on the rumor mill is something very cool for all the PlayStation people who still haven't yet taken the plunge in getting Battlefront 2 yet. No matter how much the game has gone on for sale, I still see plenty of people refuse on buying the game for two reasons. The first reason is that a lot of people are still misinformed to the fact that Battlefront 2 isn't pay to win anymore like it was at its release. The second reason is that they're generally against or boycotting the game because it's an EA game, and whether they know the game isn't pay to win or not anymore doesn't really matter to them, as I'm sure they likely just don't care. However, one PlayStation news outlet, Push Square, has reported on a leak that suggests that Battlefront 2 will be one of the free games available for PlayStation Plus members in August. Yeah, you heard that right, Battlefront 2 will be free for the first time in history on PlayStation. So whether you're one of the people who still think the game is a pay-to-win fest or are boycotting EA, then this is perfect for you. You'll get to try out the game and play the game for free and see the massive changes that took place in it since 2017. And well, you don't have to worry about giving EA any money for it. Now granted, if you're not a PlayStation Plus user, then this deal won't mean anything to you. But I think if this leak does come true, then it will only do wonders for the player base on the PS4. Especially considering the vast majority of PlayStation Plus owners who do have a PSN Plus account. Then yeah, for sure, I can see people who don't even care or like Star Wars giving this a go. Now whether they'll be sticking around for the long term is a different story. But either way, I can't see how this wouldn't be an advantage for the PlayStation player base. Now all we need is Xbox to do the same for Xbox Gold memberships, and the game should see a jump in player numbers on both consoles at least. Now as for some minor stuff to go over, if you've been following the game since 2017, you know that Battlefront 2 has always had this meme of it only having a skeleton crew working on it behind the scenes bringing new content. And for the most part, that is true, as once Battlefront 2 was released, DICE moved the majority of its devs to work on Battlefield 5, and as a result, Battlefront 2's post-content release suffered. But with that said, this year we have of course been getting a little bit more content than we originally anticipated, such as the new reinforcements like the ARC Trooper, Droid Commandos, and now the Droidicas and the Saber Tanks. And a big reason for this is of course because according to Jay Ingram, DICE did hire a few more devs to help out on the game. He said in this tweet, "Looks like that petition on Reddit for us to get more developers that got like 15 votes worked." And obviously he's being sarcastic here as the petition didn't really do anything. I mean, I doubt DICE even know there was a petition on Reddit about such a thing. If anything, it was DICE's own decision to help the Battlefront 2 team out by hiring more helping hands. As I don't really see DICE weakening the Battlefield 5 team just for Battlefront 2's sake, as remember, Battlefield 5 is still DICE's moneymaker. But regardless, this does at least make sense on how or why we're getting new content faster than ever before. Sure, it's still nothing to the amount and speed that Battlefield 5 is getting, but when you compare on how slow the skeleton team was working last year, then yeah, it's a major improvement. And to quickly head over to an issue seen on Capital Supremacy, I'm sure many of you are quite familiar with this prevalent menu camping for heroes when switching to the capital ship phase. This was something that stood out on day 1 of Capital Supremacy for me the most, and I remember including it in my review of that mode as well. But still to this day, DICE have done nothing to combat or stop menu campers. Well, at least it looks like that may be soon changing, as Ben Walk recently touched on this issue, stating the team back in Sweden want to do something about it, but don't have an exact plan locked in yet. And this is because they actually have multiple ways they would want to be able to do it, but haven't yet decided on which way they want to go. So if anything, DICE have at least acknowledged that this is a problem and have brainstormed ways on how they could fix it. But as it stands now, until they actually decide which method they'll be going with, then no real work has been put in by them fixing the problem. And well, we may be waiting for quite some time until they decide on which route to take with this. On the plus side, yeah, it's slow, but at least it's progress. Personally, I think it would be a nice touch if they were to fix the menu camping issue in Capital Supremacy with Felucia this fall. It would make the release of a brand new original map that much more better if this problem finally sorted. Of course, don't get me wrong, I would prefer if they would deal with this sooner. But realistically, given how DICE will be putting in all their priority and offline content in August, then I think it makes the most sense we could really only be seeing this fix come out in September or October. So in that case, might as well have it come out with the release of Felucia. But that'll do it for this Battlefront update. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars related content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.